There's nothing I like more than a nice warm blanket and safe fantasy investments that make me feel good. I love sitting by the fire in the fall on a crisp autumn day, watching all my players score fantasy points while other people who took the sexy trendy names are basically on the outside of the playoffs looking in. So today we're going to talk about 15 names that are safe that I think you should invest in fantasy football in 2022. Who is the safest? I'll tell you. But before we get into those names, make sure you like this video, share, and subscribe. And don't forget also to click that little bell for notifications till it goes ding for Fantasy Pros. Every time we drop a new piece of content, you'll know, and that's important, and that makes you feel safe too. Also, don't forget about our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest way to play fantasy football all year long, and when I say easy, I mean easy. No in-season management, no waivers, no trades, just draft your team and take a shot at $10 million in total prize money with their Best Ball Mania 3 contest. Head to UnderdogFantasy.com or download the Underdog Fantasy app and use the promo code FantasyPros, and they'll even match your first deposit up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code FantasyPros and draft your Best Ball Mania team today. All right, everybody, it's that time. It's time to get warm and cozy and talk about the safe players that we love, actually, that I love, Joey P, in 2022. Let's start with number 15, JAKOBI Meyers, wide receiver of the New England Patriots. Now, last year, JAKOBI Meyers saw 126 targets, and he hauled in 83 of them. That's pretty good. You knew every single week the ball was going to JAKOBI Meyers. The problem is, he didn't really remember where the end zone was. Just 2 touchdowns out of all of those 83 receptions. Now, touchdowns can be a little fluky year over year, and of course, we're looking for more development in year 2 for Mac Jones. But JAKOBI Meyers is a very safe later wide receiver to make an investment in, and you know every week he's going to be part of the game plan. Sure, the ceiling isn't that high, but the floor is nice on a weekly basis for JAKOBI Meyers. Number 14, Brandin Cooks, wide receiver, Houston Texans. Did you know that Brandin Cooks was wide receiver 16 last year in half PPR? He had 90 receptions on 134 targets and over 1,000 yards with 6 TDs. It's not too shabby for the veteran. And look, you know the Houston Texans are no good this year, so they are going to be playing from behind, which means they're going to continue to have to throw the ball, which makes Brandin Cooks a pretty safe investment. This guy is basically a lock every single year for somewhere around 80 catches and 1,000 yards and about half a dozen touchdowns, and that sounds pretty good to me at his current ADP of 63 overall. Number 13, Dalton Schultz, tight end, Dallas Cowboys. Dalton Schultz finished as the 4th tight end overall in half PPR scoring, had over 100 targets, and that's pretty good for a tight end. He also had 8 touchdowns on the year, and right now, currently, he's going as the 6th tight end off the board. With Michael Gallup hurt to start the year and Amari Cooper gone to Cleveland, there is even more opportunity, especially early on in this offense, for Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz is highly investable. It's a really good offense. He's been a part of it for a few years now, and there's a chance he even challenges for that number 1 overall tight end spot if things break right. So he is a very safe bet in 2022 with more upside than you realize. Number 12, wide receiver Hunter Renfrow, Las Vegas Raiders. Hunter Renfrow had 103 receptions last year on 128 targets and scored 9 touchdowns. He also finished as wide receiver 13 on the season. Now, with Davante Adams there, sure, things get a little bit more complicated, especially from that 9 touchdown total. But even if that touchdown total goes somewhere around 6 or 7, he's still probably going to catch around 100 balls because Josh McDaniels loves to throw the ball in the slot, whether it be to Julian Edelman or Wes Welker and all of those days. It's how his offense moves the chains, and Hunter Renfrow is going to be a big part of that. So although the ceiling might be capped, once again, this is another player with a very safe floor that I think you want to invest in an offense that might be a lot better than people realize. Number 11, Cooper Kupp, wide receiver of the Los Angeles Rams. Now, the one caveat to Cooper Kupp is this, that Matthew Stafford elbow issue is something to monitor closely this preseason. That is the only thing keeping Cooper Kupp out of the top 5 or even top 3 of the safest players in football to draft. But still, regardless, I think we can go in feeling pretty confident about Cooper Kupp in 2022. Number 10, Keenan Allen, wide receiver, the Los Angeles Chargers. Keenan Allen has finished as wide receiver 11, 12, 11, and 11. That's pretty consistent. In 4 of the last 5 years, Keenan Allen has over 100 receptions, and the one year he didn't, he had 97. He's had over 992 yards in all of those 5 seasons, and that pretty much sounds like the model of consistency. Sure, Mike Williams is there, and he's a little bit more of the splash play. And yes, Keenan Allen usually is not a guy who's going to break double-digit touchdowns. But Keenan Allen is that possession wide receiver in this Chargers attack, and that is something special because Justin Herbert has proven that there might be even another notch to his game, which is already pretty special. Keenan Allen is about as safe an investment as you can make in 2022. Yes, there's a little bit of age, yes, a little wear and tear, but in terms of knowing his role, Keenan Allen is the man. Number 9, Tom Brady, quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Do you think Tom Brady came back for one more year in the sun just to fail? Well, if you do, then you have not been paying attention to the career of Tom Brady. A lot of people will tell you in fantasy, you need the guy with the rushing upside. Well, Tom Brady was QB3 last year and threw for 5,300 yards and 43 touchdowns. That is absurd. And Tom Brady is once again being undervalued in drafts right now, and whether it's super flex or whether it's a single quarterback league, Tom Brady currently going somewhere around 8 or 9 in terms of ADP. Just because he's old doesn't mean you should forget about him. We should respect our elders and respect Tom Brady because that guy is continual fantasy gold. Number 8, Travis Kelce, tight end of the Kansas City Chiefs. Over his last 6 seasons, Travis Kelce has over 1,000 yards receiving in each of them. In the last 6 seasons, he's finished as tight end 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, and 2. Not bad. That sounds pretty consistent to me. Yes, Tyreek Hill has left town, so Travis Kelce is by himself with a new cast of characters, but that might mean that Patrick Mahomes might lean on Travis Kelce even more, especially in the beginning part of the season before everybody sort of figures out their role in the new Chiefs offense. Kansas City knows that they can trust Travis Kelce, and you should as well for all of your fantasy drafts. Number 7, Nick Chubb of the Cleveland Browns. Now, Nick Chubb, of course, isn't going to have 40 catches on the year because Kareem Hunt is still around. If Kareem Hunt isn't around, that could change. But in the meantime, right now, you're looking at a guy who's probably earmarked for at least 250 carries if he plays in every game, and probably will approach somewhere around 1,300 yards or more. Last year, he scored 9 touchdowns and was half PPR, RB10 on the year, and that was despite missing a few games. He played in just 14. Nick Chubb is an incredibly solid runner, and yes, the pass catching is something that you can knock him for, because it's not quite there. However, the touches are there, the touchdowns are there, and Nick Chubb is still a very safe investment in all fantasy leagues in 2022, no matter how much Deshaun Watson plays or doesn't. Number 6, Joe Mixon, Cincinnati Bengals running back. All it took was a healthy Joe Burrow to propel Joe Mixon to RB3 last year in half PPR scoring. He had 292 attempts in 2021, had 1,205 rushing yards, and a whopping 16 touchdowns. Now, even if the touchdowns come back to earth a little bit, this is still a very high-powered offense in Cincinnati, and they addressed their biggest Achilles heel, which is the offensive line. That was what was holding them back last year, and still Joe Mixon was pretty good. So now that that's taken care of, look for Joe Mixon to get something close to last year in terms of attempts, yardage, and touchdowns. Sure, it might be a little less on the TD side, but Joe Mixon is still an outstanding all-purpose running back at the core of a very good Bengals offensive attack. Number 5, Najee Harris, running back, Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, why is Harris ahead of Mixon? Well, because I think the year that he had last year is probably really repeatable considering where Pittsburgh is offensively. He finishes RB4 in half PPR last year and had just 10 touchdowns. That's a reasonable number. He also caught 74 balls for 476 yards, had 307 attempts for 1,200 yards rushing. He is the offense. And with that quarterback transition from Ben Roethlisberger to whoever it is next, whether it be Trubisky or Mason Rudolph or hopefully Kenny Pickett sooner than later, Harris is going to be the focal point of this attack, and that's a good thing from a fantasy perspective because you know what you're getting. He is the guy, he is the straw that stirs the drink, and the passing is all secondary. It's run the football, try to get back to playing defense. That's going to be the Steelers' path to victories in 2022. That's a good path for the fantasy value to stay safe for Najee Harris. Number 4, wide receiver Stefon Diggs, Buffalo Bills. Now, last year's numbers for Stefon Diggs were not quite as prolific as 2020, but they were still really good. He still had 100 plus receptions, he had over 1,200 yards receiving, and he had more touchdowns actually than he did in 2022. So last year, wide receiver 7, I think we'll take it from Stefon Diggs, and it feels like this is about a floor we can invest in yet again, And we know what the upside is. It looks something like 2020. Now, Stefon Diggs is part of the Buffalo Bills attack with Josh Allen. You can believe in that quarterback. You can trust the offense. You can trust his role. And he's been very durable over the last 4 years as well, playing in at least 15 games in every single one of those years. And look, these last 2 years with Buffalo have been special. There's every reason to believe he's going to finish as a wide receiver 1 yet again in 2022. So draft Stefon Diggs. Number 3, wide receiver Ja'Marr Chase, Cincinnati Bengals. What a rookie season it was for Ja'Marr Chase, finishing as wide receiver 4 overall on the year in half PPR formats, 81 receptions on 128 targets, and a whopping 1,455 yards, and 13 touchdowns. This was a guy that got better as the year went on, and it's scary to think that this man might just be scratching the surface of what he's capable of doing in the National Football League. Clearly, the connection between Chase and Joe Burrow is strong from the college days and has carried over into the NFL season, and this duo has a chance to be historically special as they continue to grow together in a beautiful love story in the NFL. And in 2022, Ja'Marr Chase is about as good of an investment as you can possibly make. Every single week, this guy has the opportunity to win you a week, and you can't say that about a whole lot of fantasy investments. Number 2, Josh Allen, quarterback of the Buffalo Bills. All this guy did was go back-to-back years as the QB1 in fantasy, and that is harder than you think. It's been the first time in years since anyone has accomplished that feat, and Josh Allen did it with 4,400 yards passing, 36 passing touchdowns, 6 rushing touchdowns, and 763 rushing yards. This is a complete offense and a complete team, and the Buffalo Bills are looking for that number 1 spot. It's Super Bowl or bust for them in 2022. He is one of the safer investments you can make. This guy scores points through the air with his legs, and most importantly, controls all the points in his offense. That is important. So even though you're down at the goal line, hey, guess what? Josh Allen's going to get you points there. Even though you're in the red zone, Josh Allen's going to get you points there throwing the football. Hey, even though you're far away, Josh Allen can make big plays with his legs and big plays with his arm to get you fantasy points. And this is a guy that has a weekly, very high floor and a high ceiling. And because he's a quarterback, he's more protected under the rules, which means he's a very good investment in fantasy. I would go in that late second, early third round and feel very good about selecting Josh Allen. He is safe, and that boy good at football. That brings us to the number 1 safest pick in fantasy football, Justin Jefferson, wide receiver of the Minnesota Vikings. Last year in 17 games, he had 108 receptions on 167 targets for 1,616 yards and 10 touchdowns. That was good enough for wide receiver 5. And again, that was in a historic season for Cooper Kupp. So really, people would be talking a lot more about Justin Jefferson if Cooper Kupp didn't have the incredible all-time season that he had last year. Justin Jefferson is poised under this new regime to possibly have even another gear in him as this team looks to be more aggressive through the air in 2022, if you can believe that. Justin Jefferson is a guy that has put himself in the conversation for that number 1 overall pick. And yes, I know that's tough for a lot of people to grasp, but in terms of staying healthy, in terms of productivity on a weekly basis, and a high floor, high ceiling player, Justin Jefferson is the man. I think there's a good chance we're seeing the guy who we come back here next year is the number 1 overall point getter in fantasy. Yeah, I said it, and Justin Jefferson is my number 1 target in the first round of any draft I'm in, pretty much regardless of format as well, because I do believe that to be true. And next year, I think we're all going to be realizing just how great this guy is in terms of a safe investment. How about a league-winning investment? How about possibly the 1-1 player in all of fantasy when we head into 2023? So there you have it. Those are the 15 safest players to draft in 2022, according to me, Joey P. And I want to hear from you. So tell me, who are some of the safest players in your mind for this season, or maybe the guys I got wrong? And when you make a comment right here below on the YouTube channel on this very video, you are entered to win, if you're a subscriber to Fantasy Pros, this glorious Marquez Valdes-Scantling jersey, thanks to our friends at pristineauction.com. It is autographed. It is Kansas City strong. It is MVS. It's pretty sharp if you ask me, and it can be yours. All you have to do again is comment on this YouTube video below and make sure you're subscribed to our Fantasy Pros YouTube channel. We will be announcing the winner right here on this channel, so make sure you turn on those notifications so you can be alerted when new episodes are up and claim your prize as well. So that'll do it for me, Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.
Thanks for tuning in to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel. Don't forget to check out our featured videos, And while you're at it, make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at FantasyPros, so you can get the latest news and updates to give you the edge you need in your fantasy league.